wake up from your snooze. Come get with the crew. You know who it is, what we do. It's the crew, yeah. Oh yeah, it's the crew. Oh yeah, it's the crew, yeah. Oh yeah, it's the crew. Oh yeah, it's time to snooze, join the crew. We got news, we got tunes. We gon' hit you with the truth. We ain't like them other dudes. All the glory to Jesus, cause of him we making moves. Oh yeah, we done found our groove. You can come get with it too. It's the crew.
Yo, what's poppin', Crew Nation? You already know who it is, what it is, and what we do, baby. It is your boy, Jay.
This is Chris.
Yes, sir. And today in the building, we have none other than Sis and Lil Bro. What's good?
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Good.
Yeah. Nothing much. Now, look, I see, we got the OG in the bed. I had to introduce him separately, okay? I had to make sure that we gave him his own, because they talking about he's a hip-hop pioneer out in these streets. Cross, ladies and gentlemen, the Dadager. I had to make sure I introduced you as that way, the Dadager, man. How you feeling today?
It's all good, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So first and foremost, being this hip-hop duo, we have this sibling. Are there any sibling rivalries that go on? Do you got to separate them whenever they going too hard?
All the time, man.
Hey.
It can be chaos in this crib.
Yeah, that's normal, the family competition thing.
We know a little bit about that.
Yeah, I actually have a twin. I'm a twin, so
That
I
is
mean,
true.
I know. I'm assuming Titus older.
No. Selena's older.
Really?
Yeah, so you know how that goes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, okay, yeah. But you
don't know how that goes.
No,
I know how that goes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I'm in Titus's shoes because you
Right.
older than me.
That's
and,
a fact.
yeah,
Just
so-
by a little bit.
Yeah, so we can relate here some ways.
Yeah, man, we like that. So look, we're starting to call y'all Selena, Lena, and Titus. So wait a minute. Y'all are also separate artists. Is that accurate?
Right, that's true.
Okay, solo artists. Now I've seen Selena's name floating around with different ones within the genre. So I did kind of know about you, but Titus, I haven't heard as much. So seems like you got a little bit of catching up to do, man. What we talking about here? What we waiting on, man?
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Sister Lena, Titus, whatever goes, right?
Yeah, definitely that. But you a crosser, right? Is that what we're talking about? No pun intended. But you're a crosser. I mean, I'm hearing about this. This PG, this basketball thing, man. What are we talking about here?
Something like that.
You're
like
not him, man. Come on, you're not him. Come on, man.
Hey, they need to invite me to whatever that little basketball tournament they have with the CHA chart. So I'm pulling up.
Right. So the Indie Tribe tournament, man. You haven't been invited yet. The Holy Smoke.
The smoke. Yeah.
Not yet. They must not want to see me.
Man, there's this guy out there. His name is Cam, man. He think he's the hardest Christian hip hop hooper out there, man. I think you might have to show him a little bit.
From Virginia?
Yeah. Oh, you know Cam.
Oh, we went to Liberty together.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Oh,
Wow.
wait a minute. So let's talk about. Hold on.
Played for Liberty. He said what he ain't saying is he played for Liberty.
Ooh, see, there you go. So
Okay.
we actually have the facts.
Yeah.
Back up what he's saying.
Okay, so wait a minute. So Cam been talking a lot of noise about Christian hip hop and his hoopers, man. So I want to hear right here, who would win?
I respectfully, as humbly as possible, I'm winning.
Let's go. Talk about. That's what I'm talking about. Wait a minute, Selena, don't you hoop too, though?
Do I hoop? No.
Okay. All right. I thought it was something kind of skipped you.
Right.
It skipped you and him. It skipped you and hit him. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Good.
So in terms of so what started first? The individual, y'all's own individual careers, and y'all making music, and then y'all decided to come together. How did that grow, or what happened first?
Yeah, y'all got that right. So we started individually, and then we decided to come together.
Okay.
Now, Cross, why didn't you get your Joe Jackson on earlier than that?
Yeah.
Like.
Actually, I did get my Joe Jackson on earlier than that.
Okay,
So-
talk to me.
So first of all, this hey, you looking at the first family of Christian hip hop. Now,
Okay. Stand on that. Let's go. All right.
let me give you the backdrop of that. So back in the day, when I say pioneer, they're not the first kids to do Christian hip hop. My oldest son, KJ, he was rocking back in 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was touring with me all around the country, and I'm talking about doing your Holy Hip Hop Days when you had Holy Hip Hop Music Awards in Atlanta. and EMI was putting out those Holy Hip Hop Volume 1 through 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
So their older brother, was the one who started. So they actually standing on my shoulders and their older brother's shoulders. You feel me?
Nice.
So
Yeah.
me and him was in the studio and traveling the country, man, for like 11 years before these young cats came along. It really is a family affair.
Yeah, man. Nah, I'm loving that, man. So, hearing about you guys and watching what you all are doing, why plan this festival? That's what we're here to talk about, right? This Godflow Hip Hop and Hope Fest. With so many festivals that are going on with the Christian hip hop right now, why try to plan one?
Well, actually, man, the way it started was I was doing like small events like a while back. And it was called Church in the Wild, and we were doing for the inner city here in the Twin Cities. But as you know, and the rest of the world know, man, with the whole situation with George Floyd, that's really how Godflow came about. So when you look at the Twin Cities and you look at the turmoil that we was in, and you look at the riot and the looting and everything that was going on, man, we had our whole city and state in an uproar. So, you got your political aspect. Everybody's got these different opinions about what's going on, this, that, and the other, and more importantly about problem solving, how we're going to solve these problems, and this, that, and the other, who's wrong, who's right. So just a whole lot of chaos going on. But at the end of the day, and the church was doing what they could, traditional church was doing what they could. But when you looked at our city, and I'm connected in the city as a community leader, so we having discussions with chief of police, all the pastors in the city, the clergy, government officials, and what have you. So they're providing solutions, which is cool, practical solutions, which is cool, makes sense. But at the same time, you can't just attack what was going on in our city just from a practical perspective. So you had to have the spiritual element. And so when you looked at the churches around the Twin Cities, and even from urban culture around the country, it's not a lot of young people that are in church. So the question becomes, how does the culture hear about Jesus if the young people who are really devastated don't know about Christ, don't know about Jesus? So for us, we was like, we got the answer. We're going to launch this festival. We're going to take the gospel out into the streets, and we're going to go and reach the unchurched, the people who are actually out here who are really hurting and struggling, and more importantly, who's actually looking for the answer. And so that's what we wanted to provide, man. So what we did was, we put out a call to all the CHH artists around the country, man, just to, first and foremost, to come and help try to heal our city. You feel me? Yeah, so and that was real. And so that's what we did, man. And we pulled together 25 churches. We pulled together local businesses and all of that. And then, reached out to the artists, got them on board. And then for the first one, we reached out to T.I. He came out. And so, man, that's how Godflow was really birthed, man, as a call to the streets, take the gospel to the streets, and dealing with turmoil, people dealing with trauma and all sorts of things, man. Abuse and everything else. So we just took it from there, and we've been rolling ever since.
Yeah, that's dope, because I was gonna ask about that, because the first original one was like a youth rally. Was that the precursor to what we see now with Godflow Fest?
Yep, absolutely. Because what we needed and what the culture needed was prayer. You know how it goes, man. When people are struggling and they're devastated, I mean, prayer is the answer. So that's why it was the urban youth rally as far as the prayer rally, because we wanted to introduce prayer. That was our way of, introducing people to Christ, the conduit to get to Christ. And so, we had young people praying. And what was interesting about that was we had about 55 young people that actually got saved during that event.
So was it a focus early on to make sure that you kind of had these high profile names to be special guests? What was the thinking behind that? Because it started with T.I. and then Cedric the Entertainer the next year, and then now we have Angela White. So what is the purpose behind that?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, it's part of bridging. One part of it is bridging the sacred and the secular together. Yeah. That's one element.
Whoa! You can't do that.
It might come.
Whoa!
Y'all gonna let me finish my.
What are we talking about?
For this.
Elaborate on that, man. Come on.
Okay, for example, you got a lot of people out there, man, who have an idea of who God is, but actually they go through a process to get saved. They go through a process to be evangelized, and then more importantly, they go through a process to be discipled. And so there's this journey. So you never know where people are at on your journey. A lot of people think that you bring a lot of secular artists just for name clout and things like that. But actually, if I'm not mistaken, they got a soul too. So you never know what the situation is that might allow them to get saved, especially if you're bringing them into something that's in their element, what they're doing as a life career, but you can introduce Jesus into it in a relevant way that might have an impact. You feel me? Now that's just one perspective. Yeah. But at the end of the day, for us with Godflow, man, the way we crafted it, yes, it was strategic to reach out to secular artists and to bring them, because number one, we're not going after the church and we're not going after people who are already saved. We're going after the streets. Okay. And so these are names that they can recognize, but at the same time, we're doing quality control to make sure that the messages that they're delivering are on point. And I'll give you an example. When I brought T.I., I didn't bring T.I. to preach the gospel. I did that. The ministers of the gospel, the hip hop artists, they did that. You feel me? And so the cooks, they serve the food. And at the end of the day, the point that I'm making is that T.I., when I brought him here to talk to the hip hop culture about not killing each other, not destroying their community, about getting jobs, all of those sorts of things, the tangible things that happen on a day-to-day basis, ongoing. You feel me? Sustainable change. Because at the end of the day, when you look at urban culture across America, we got 80% of our young Black boys, man, that don't have fathers in their home. Look at the murder rate. Look at the education rate. Look at the dropout rate. Look at the prison rate. So, yeah, we want to get those voices at our Christian festival that can speak to the culture in different ways. And so with T.I., that was his specific assignment. And each artist that I bring, whether it's a Christian hip hop artist or whether it's a secular artist, they have a specific assignment. Okay.
And we'll get into that. Selena, growing up, was he always like this? Like, how was it growing up with him? Like, man, because you know how it is, parents tell you not to do certain things, do as I say, not as I do. But how was it growing up with him in the home?
He's always been like this. Like, as long as I've known my dad, he's always been headstrong, a go-getter for the culture. And, I look up to him for that, because like when he helps these young boys out and our generation, he thinks of himself, he sees himself as a young boy and now he's a man now just executing it. And so he's always been this way. Like, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Titus, is that the same to you? The reason why I'm asking, like I said, because he's talking about bridging the secular and the sacred, right? And that's not a conversation that people like to have within this space, which I feel like that's exactly what this space is for. But is that kind of the way that he's always led that? Do you believe that same way?
Yeah, no, I would agree with what Selena said. Growing up with him, he's always been confident in his plan, confident in his mission. He started his nonprofit based on mentoring young Black youth, basically. So this is just another plan to carry out that mission. And then being on the secular side before, he could tell you his own testimony, but he knows both sides. So he knows what the youth need. He knows what it's like to be on the other side. He knows what that message is. And at the same time, him not growing up with a father, he can tell you, he won't be able to tell you what it was like growing up with a father, but he can put his best foot forward to be that father figure to guys that don't have one, or be that person that he needed when he was doing other things, if you know what I'm saying. So, yeah.
So, Cross, as not only a father, but manager, how do you navigate that? Is there any difficulty trying to do both?
Yeah, it's a unique space, man, that you got to play in. And there's got to be some boundaries and lines or what have you. Business got to be business. So when we doing business, we doing business. I don't want to hear nothing about us being,
Yeah. Now talk about it. Now you right.
We got to take care of the business. So everything has its place. I think the greatest issue is just making sure that we don't really blur those lines too much, because then you're talking chaos. Yeah. And of course, God is not the author of confusion. And then you think about ministry, and of course, the family is the first ministry. So if we don't get this right here, what's the point of us even traveling around the country or around the world? You feel me? So there is a business aspect to what we do. And so, yeah, it's about balancing. And Titus, we did a lot of balancing. Titus went to college, obviously. He played basketball, Division I. Of course, that's a demand. Selena went to college. They both got their degrees. So you're managing college, you're managing the family, you're managing them as kids. And then at the same time, you manage them as artists. But even like you guys said, on top of that, they're individual artists. So it's like a triple threat. Titus got his own records, Selena's got her own records, then they come together, they got System Lil Bro. But at the end of the day, it's just about, I look at it like this. For any parent who has multiple kids, you feel me? You got
you know what I'm thinking about, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Sis and Lil Bro.
Yeah.
And that, I guess I didn't catch
You
that.
didn't put it together.
When I asked who was older,
Wow.
you
didn't put it together. Yeah. Nah.
It's funny, we got the same moment.
Now, so okay. So look, Titus, Selena, Cross come to y'all and say, "Hey, Blac Chyna's gonna be at the event." What's y'all's first thought? How did that conversation come about? Did y'all say like, I gotta hear it now. Now I gotta hear it. I see it in his face. Talk to us. We really want to hear about this. Talk to us.
Selena got to go first, and I got y'all right after.
Okay.
No, I told him off the bat. I said if we lock in Blac Chyna, I said we selling out. Like that's what I said, because she's a big influencer in our culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, and because she was friends with Nicki Minaj, and then with the Kardashians and stuff like that. And these days with social media popping and stuff, like everybody's into beauty, everybody's into social media stuff. So like I just said, her name is gonna sell out. So like I was excited. I was like, that's our golden girl. Like you feel me? Like that. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I took the backseat role. So when I say backseat, it's not like I was just totally away from it. But Cross had asked us, because obviously we're helping run this festival and put it on. So he's like, what is y'all generation? Who do they want to see? Who do they want to hear? Like, imagine y'all are fans that want to come to a CHH Fest. Like, what's going to draw? What's going to sell out? This and that. So Selena, I'll give her credit. She did come up with Blac Chyna. Was like, hey, we should bring Angela White, whatnot. And to be honest, I did not know a whole lot about her. I knew her name. I knew who she was, but I didn't know her backstory. I knew she got saved and whatnot, but I didn't know her whole transformation. I didn't know the ins and outs of it. But the more I did my research and got into it, I'm like, yeah, this would be dope. Because like we mentioned before, having T.I., a lot of the dudes, a lot of the fellas are like, oh yeah, that's my guy. I can relate to him. Yeah. Now we got the females. Now the females like, I love fashion. I love hair. I love Blac Chyna. So it's like, we try to do all spectrum. So when I heard that we actually confirmed her, it was dope. And I had the same feeling as Selena. I was just excited for what it could be, what potential could happen.
So, I mean, this can be for either one of y'all, but talk about the backlash. I'm sure there was definitely positively some from the Christian community as a whole. Just talk about the backlash. Have y'all heard anything? Maybe it's not been that bad. No, it was that bad.
No, hold on. I want to know who these A-list celebrity artists was. Come on, man. That's what they here to see. That's what they want to know. Now, y'all definitely got backlash. I like that, but you had to pile that on there. We had to get. I didn't want to just walk to there and then we forget to.
Well, we could have went back to.
No. But it's got to hit that way. But yeah, talk about that backlash, man.
I think, man, anytime you're doing anything that's unprecedented, you're gonna catch it from both ways. Yeah. And I even equate it to Christian hip hop. As a pioneer, you think about it, man. Your heart is for God. You got a mission that you got to carry out. You feel me? You're anointed to do it, but at the same time, you don't expect to see a whole lot of people walking that narrow road with you at the end of the day. So, let's look at it from this standpoint. As a CHH artist, when you go into a church, a lot of times they used to say that Christian hip hop was the devil's music. You feel me? So you're catching it from the church, right? But then when you go out to catch the lost sheep in the streets, they saying, "Yo, you supposed to be in the church." So now you got who you trying to serve everybody, but at the end of the day, nobody understands your calling, nobody understands your mission. I think that works the same way, man, when it comes to the festival. And as far as like I said, when you're trying to do something unprecedented, when you're trying to put something on that's national or what have you, you're gonna have criticism. You're gonna also have support. But when it comes to the criticism, man, I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to it unless it's destroying the culture. Like my kid said, for me, I'm more culture minded. Yeah. For me, it's not about selling records or anything about that. But when you think about the festival and what we're doing and putting it on to the level in which we're putting it on, really our goal is we're serving, because our heart is to serve the culture, to create platforms for Christian hip hop artists that are unprecedented platforms. So when you talk about Christian hip hop space, which is a small space, even with the few festivals that are going on, compared to all concert festivals, or even compared to the overall Christian hip hop culture, it's minuscule. You feel me? So yeah, we're gonna get the criticism, but the criticism, you know, it's okay. Now I'm gonna get a little bit more specific to what you was asking me. So listen, at the end of the day, man, when it comes to hip hop, a lot of artists, you know, if you're a superstar, if you're a secular artist or whatever, or mainstream, however you want to call it, you got a machine behind you. You got endorsements behind you. You feel me? And you making some money, and you got a fan base, and you selling tickets, and you can reach a lot of people. And so, yeah, you can demand what I call the over-the-top money at the end of the day. But if we're going to keep it 100, we know that when it comes to Christian hip-hop in the circle, man, it's so small, and that's no disrespect, but the average Christian hip-hop is only going to draw about 200 people to their shows. Take that from Mike Mack, you feel me? So the people who are behind the scenes who are making this machine really go on the CHH side, man, we understand the dynamics. And so it's not a diss to the CHH artists. It's more of a mentoring. I mean, it might have been a little hard mentoring, but at the end of the day, what the backdrop of that is think of big picture. Look at big picture. And I know through mentoring artists, a lot of times they don't think about big picture. You feel me? A lot of times it's like, yo, what can I get? I got to feed my family, got to make this next move. But at the end of the day, it's got to be ministry first. And then it's got to be business second. It has to be both, but there has to be a priority. So at the end of the day, man, that's kind of where that came from, because unfortunately, a lot of times, you know, we follow, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, we follow the world's way of doing business and think that we can just automatically let that cross over into, quote, kingdom business. And I don't think the shoe fits every situation.
Man, what was the most that they was asking for? Like, you ain't got to tell me specifically, but look, no, because I know of an artist. I'm not putting them out there, but they want like 20 racks. So I want to know, what was the most that they was asked for, where you was like, really? Come on, nah, come on, man.
Hey, man, listen.
Why is that so funny now?
First of all, I'm not going to do like them politicians and just like talk off the wall and not answer your question. I'm gonna just tell you, I'm not answering that question directly.
Come on!
Because that's proprietary information, and I wouldn't throw nobody under the bus like that. But what I will say is I'll just talk from a pragmatic perspective when it comes to numbers.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if I pay you those same similar numbers that you mentioned, the question becomes, can you bring in the crowd to justify what you're asking me to pay you? Now, if you listen to the interview with Mike Mack on Holy Culture Radio, let's just be real about that. You take the whole Reach Records roster, and they're only pulling about 1,500 people. Now, you go do the math. And I'm not talking specifically about Reach Records.
I know. No, but for reference sake.
But let's pull it outside of Reach Records, because we know Reach Records are very well-known artists.
Fact.
But then you got another tier that's under that who are even trying to charge same and similar prices to Reach Records and don't even have that pool. You feel me? So what you're basically asking me to do, and what I was saying in a nutshell without saying it, is you're asking me to make a bad business decision. And if I continue to make those bad business decisions with what I'm trying to accomplish for the culture of CHH, you at the end of the day, you basically asking me to take away a platform that you really need, because I got to pay you a certain amount that, and the end don't justify the means. So at the end of the day, we all in this thing together. And I think when I talk big picture, I don't think that that's what CHH artists understand. Now, if you want to tax somebody, go tax some of them people who ain't pushing your vision and ain't pushing your culture. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And who got that extended income? It's not that we ain't got a bag. We got a bag because God graced us to get a bag, and we're trying to be faithful stewards over the bag we got. You feel me?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, scripture. Know who labors among you.
Yeah.
Christian hip hop artists know the Christian hip hop festivals that's pushing you. You feel me? That's like these two kids. That's like me trying to produce their records and albums, and I'm investing money in them. But then when it's opportunity for money to come in, they want the lion's share of it. We gotta work this thing together. Christian hip hop artists and Christian hip hop festivals gotta work together to make sure that we putting on a strong display for the world to follow.
Right. So none of the Christian artists are getting paid as much as Angela White. Got it.
Yeah, that's what we came away with.
I love that. Let me speak to that because here's the deal. So a lot of the celebrity artists that I talk to, I don't think a lot of people understand how they look at us. Even though we don't have like a major platform, what we got is the integrity of the gospel, and that's what they're attracted to.
Okay.
Feel me when I say that. Yeah. And so what we got to do is we got to own that. Yeah. And so a lot of times they will discount their prices to be a part of something special. Whereas sometimes when I have worked with CHH artists, there was no flexibility. Everything flat, no movement. You feel me? So trust me when I tell you, when I work with T.I., I negotiated it. When I work with Angela White, I negotiated it. Now, let me put the cherry on top, as I would do. When I got Cedric the Entertainer, he didn't charge me a dime.
Wow.
And I'm gonna tell you why he done it. Done it as a favor because, as you see on my chest, I got a nonprofit organization called the Man Up Club where I mentor young Black boys. Right. He was down for the cause. It's the Man Up Club that is the presenter of the Godflow Festival. You feel me? Now, I'm from a little small town of about 1,000 people called Haytown, Missouri. So if you know Cedric the Entertainer's history, he's from a town that's 5 minutes away called Crothersville. If you remember Johnson's family reunion, he shot it in his hometown. He like, yo, you from Haytown? I'm from Crothersville? I got you.
That's dope.
Now, I challenge CHH artists. We got a fest. I'm not asking for nothing for free.
Yeah.
But let's be relational. Let's let relation, the fact that we got this vertical relationship with Christ.
Right.
And through him we got this horizontal relationship. But let's honor the vertical first. Because at the end of the day, let's think about it. We ain't talking about all these festivals that's in the CFA, the Christian Festival Association, where they got 50,000 fans. We all building together.
Yeah.
You feel we build it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, let's just keep them 100. When you go to hip hop concerts that are in the mainstream, it's typically filled with white kids.
That's a fact. People that don't look like us, people that can afford the tickets. Yep.
So we ain't buying tickets. Somebody got to buy the tickets for the urban inner city youth if they're going to hear the gospel. So we should be able to work with each other. So, for example, if I'm saying, hey, I want to bring 1,000 urban inner city kids who ain't never heard the gospel and who are poor, I need you to work with me, man, so you can give them this gospel so when they looking at all these other rappers, they can hear your message. Can we work? And if you coming to me like, nah, man, I got to have this. And we can't have a humanitarian conversation before we have the business conversation. I just think it's a little skewed. That's just my perspective.
Yeah, I totally understand that, man. And some people would say, though, that, just because we work within the same space, it shouldn't be a reason that I should offer a discount. But my thing is, I don't believe none of them is making the money elsewhere anyways. That's just me. But let's talk about this sister, little bro. How much is he paying y'all? Did y'all negotiate y'all deals appropriately? Come on, because he talking all this, integrity, and we gotta, do them the right way. And hey, we work here together. Man, look, all the time that he made y'all cut the yard and y'all didn't like it, all the time he made y'all clean up the house and y'all didn't like it, hey, y'all gotta get him back. Yeah, tax him. Now, how was that, man? How was that conversation? Because y'all are like the headliners of this event. Is that accurate? I mean, we got some heavy hitters on here. We got Portia Love and Mike Teasy and George Rose. Clifford Gray, like I say all the time, and I love what he's doing with the inner city youth as well. So that matches your vision. So I totally understand that. But you guys are the headliners. First of all, did y'all get y'all bag straight? We ain't leaving that alone. Make sure y'all got that. But are y'all excited for this? And what can we expect?
Oh, yes. Extremely, extremely excited. And I would say our blessing, it's a family oriented thing, as mentioned. It's not like we on the low, like here's your money, go do what you want with it. But it's an investment. We all making investments. We all sacrificing. We all working. with one another. So we don't really exchange money and be like, here, do this, do that. I mean, yes, that comes for certain situations, but at the same time, we all trying to drive a purpose and all trying to drive Christ at the end of the day. So whatever it takes is what's going to be done. As far as the festival goes, this is actually, the fourth year that we're having it. This is the first year we're actually hosting it. Okay. We've always been artists and performing at it and whatnot and helping put it on, but actually hosting it this time and headlining as artists and performing, it's just helping us get it acclimated to the space more as we're emerging artists and whatnot.
Ready.
Yeah. You said what?
You said Cross had to make sure y'all was ready. He didn't just want to throw that on y'all. Like that's what that told me, because obviously, like in situations like that, you're gonna want to put your own, especially when you're talking about your family, like you're gonna want to put your own on. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's dope that he wanted to build up the process first and actually make sure that y'all worked towards that before, just giving it to y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's dope.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So just putting in the work behind it, and obviously getting us prepared for situations, prepared for the moment when it does come. We don't want to get to a certain spot and not be ready, not be prepared for it. So it's basically just working behind the scenes and trying to be the best at what we do, whether that's being an artist, whether that's being a host. You never know. Like if we watched the BET Awards the other day together, half the artists, half the actors, they're not even getting up there performing. They're just announcing an award. So how about we take this Godflow Fest and work on our hosting skills? You never know what opportunities come up. So, I mean, I'll let Selena hit it, but for the most part, it's just us getting acclimated to the space, acclimated to new things, and being more than just a rapper, if you will.
Yeah, I would say I'm very excited to be hosting alongside my brother. Like he kind of said, like this will be our first time hosting Godflow. So it's just an honor to do something like so big like that. And then another thing that I like to think about myself is like, I know that God uses you in uncomfortable spaces to push you towards your purpose. So even though it's something that like we've never done before, I do feel nervous about it. Like, don't get me wrong, but that's normal. But I know that like when you're uncomfortable, like those are positions where you can grow. Because not everything in life, like you're gonna fully feel prepared for. So like it's just dope to think about. I'm gonna just, you know what I'm saying, like think more about like the good that can come out of it. Like instead of being nervous about it, it's more like, let's just have fun with Blac Chyna, you know what I'm saying? Let's have fun with Teasing. Let's have fun with Portia, you know what I'm saying? So, we're super excited about that. I'm really thankful for that.
I love that, man. So look, how do you feel, Selena, about the space of women within Christian hip hop? We always talk about they don't get the shine that they need. It's only room for one at the top. You know, the normal cliches, but it seems to be changing a little bit. People are seeming to kind of, enjoy each other a lot bit more and understand that this isn't a crabs in a barrel mentality. What have you seen from your perspective?
Honestly, so we actually just came back from Flavor Fest in Atlanta, and I actually met up with a couple of the other women, and it was Cece and then Toya Love. I think that first of all, I'll just say like the interaction that I had with them was very like authentic, and so I feel like, especially as women, because we're an even smaller pool in CHH, because CHH is obviously small compared to like secular. Women obviously is even smaller than that. So I feel like the more that we're, authentic with each other, like, you know what I'm saying, willing to work with each other, like feature for feature, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how we build as women. But so far, like I've had good impressions from just those initial interactions, and I'm still like building those relationships as a female artist in this industry. I'm like, you know what I'm saying, still getting out here, but it's been positive so far. That's what I'll say about that.
What about you, Titus? I know you mentioned the connection to Cam, but do you find yourself?
He mentioned that he would lose. Cam.
He did drop that in there.
Me and Cam cool.
Nah, that's my guy. Cam is my guy. 100 grand, man.
But what about yourself in terms of your connection, working with other Christian hip hop artists, male or female? How has that been for you?
I think it's cool. I think once I bring up a specific scenario. So I want to say last year, 2 years ago at Godflow, we had Aha, we had D1, we had Thizzle, Hovey. So like we had a bunch of artists. Same situation. It's the first time I'm meeting these people, and they cool. They down to earth. Everybody's getting up, doing their music, ministering and whatnot, and then everybody's just hanging out backstage, just chilling, eating, conversating, whatnot. So it's not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's cliquish as most people would expect. I would say that there's still room to grow. I will say that. I feel like going back to Cross's point, have ministry be the first thing. So don't get in an area, don't get too much pride in an area where you think you're too good enough for the genre or too good enough to be around other people that might not be on your level or whatnot. So I think it's a shared space. I think it's good. And even to throw a cherry on top of that, after the festival, all the artists went to a bowling alley in the city just to hang out. Like after the festival, everybody go to their hotels, get ready to fly out the next day, do what you got to do. Rather than doing that, we all just connected, went bowling, ate some food, and just chilled. So I haven't had any bad experience with it. Yeah, so it's cool.
So ultimately, did you want to say something, Cross?
No, I just want to talk about the collaborations because they have had collaborations.
Yeah, collaborations. On top of that, so like Few, I think he came to the Godflow Fest once or twice, and we in the RV behind stage talking like, "Yo, we got this track for you." This is the first time we met him. Like, "Yo, we got a track for you. We love doing it, this and that," and it's done a week later. So it's cool like that and stuff like that. If you think about Godflow, we had a feature with Few out of that. The Truth is unreleased. We got a How with the Wait a Minute that we got out.
Hey, that Wait a Minute is fire. That Wait a Minute is crazy.
Yep, and another one in the queue with Dizzle. So it's the collaborations is just another byproduct of building that relationship and building within the market.
Dope.
Yeah, he said he got an unrexreleased Truth track. That's what he said.
Right, yeah,
and an unreleased Dizzle. That's what he said.
Mention, you know,
yeah, he kind of sped past that.
Exclusive! Exclusive! Yes, sir. So ultimately, Cross, where are we? Where do you see Godflow Fest going? Where's the goal to get this festival? Where are we trying to get this?
I'm glad you asked. The goal for Godflow, man, is to become a national tour. That was always the goal, man. I'll give you this quick little story, man. I went first time I went international on tour. I went to Europe and toured all over Europe, and I went with a group called No Longer Music, which is a rock group. Had no idea why I was there, man. And it was a totally different environment, totally different music. And for me, I was like, God, why you got me over here on this tour, on this rock with this rock group in these crazy places? Yeah. Had to do some praying, man. And then God was just like, listen, I brought you over here so you can study how they do these tours. And their tours are specifically for unchurched people who don't know God. Yeah. And so I figured it out, man, that how to put these tours together. And so the Spirit has spoke to me and he's like, I want you, when you get back to America, I want you to put these tours together for urban cultures around the United States, every inner city in America. And so basically that's the goal for Godflow. At the end of the day, it's not just for the Twin Cities. It was not just a reactionary measure, to the George Floyd situation. God can do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask or think, man. So at the end of the day, if you can imagine Godflow basically touring every inner city across America, and with the goal of preaching the gospel through evangelism, partnering with local churches within those areas, man, to get those churches on board where they can disciple the young people and that we're bringing into their church that they typically would not reach, creating a platform for the CHH artists to be able to go on tour and to present those concerts in inner cities where the tour is sponsored, so that these kids don't have to be able to purchase these tickets. And mind you, let me stick a pin right there, because the first 3 years of Godflow, it was always free. It was always outside. It was always in the hood. We gave free haircuts. We done a grocery drive. We gave out free suits to young men. We baptized people on the spot. Beautiful. So that's what the true Godflow looks like. And so I hope people don't get it twisted on the fact that, we indoors and we at First Avenue, you feel me? Because that was not the original intent for Godflow. And so the goal is, man, to really be able to present it in every inner city across America, man, and to pick up, where some of the churches have left off.
That's dope.
Yeah, man, I like that. So we're talking about a Christian hip hop version of Winter Jam or something like that. Like you said, with the big, huge sponsors, but to be able to go into the hood, you know what I'm saying, and really put these on. I think that's dope, because as you said beforehand, who the one that gets to buy the tickets, especially when you go to Winter Jam, or if you even go to these Christian hip hop festivals where they got an ex-hood story, or it's still white people at the at the performances. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So yeah, I like that. I really do. So we got Godflow Fest July the 23rd, man. Why should people be there? Come on. Why? Talk to us.
Why not? No, I'm playing. No,
Yeah,
no.
right. Just keep it a beat.
Why not?
What else you gotta do?
Place to be, man, for real. I mean, First Avenue, first of all, let's start with the venue. Like, that's a historic location. We talking about Prince. Like, Prince on Michael Jackson. Like, that's Prince. That's his old spot. Like, I be thinking about
You
some
ain't even gotta say nothing else. You ain't even gotta say nothing else. Come on.
This is just one part of it. No, First Avenue, Minneapolis. Minneapolis and Minnesota in general is actually a good CHH space. It's underrated, in my opinion. There's a lot of artists here, actually.
Okay.
A lot of fans. I remember when I was, 9, 10, 11 years old, they used to have a Christian nightclub called Club 3 Degrees, I think, in 116. They had bring it here and it would sell out. So it's not like CHH is dead here, like the Christian Coast is dead. Like, not at all. One, it's a great space, it's a great market. You got it at First Avenue. And then the lineup, you got great artists. The tickets are not expensive, they're not out the water, this and that, whatnot. I think it's a great opportunity for not only the artists, but for the people in general. Blac Chyna's coming, Angela White's coming, so she's gonna give her testimony and whatnot and speak and whatever she's gonna do. But at the same time, you don't get there's not many festivals. I mean, we spoke on it. You got your Indie Tribe, you got the Glow Fest, you got Godflow, and forgive me if I'm missing others.
No,
but
you're right. It ain't many. I mean, I said a lot because we hear a lot of names, but
Right.
yeah, the ones that actually happen, it's not many.
right, exactly. That's just a couple reasons. I don't know if y'all.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I would just say everybody needs to come out because it's just gonna be lit, okay? Because here's the thing, I don't know if y'all know, but we're also performing too. We're not just hosting this year, but we're performing, and like we bring the fire to the stage, and so do all the other artists. So like people get turned, you know what I'm saying? People get that high energy hype, like everybody jumping, you get those vibes. But then you also get to walk away from a concert that has meaning to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't drain your soul in a way. Like, at the end of the day, what everybody's spitting, like the music and everything, Blac Chyna's speaking, like what everybody's spitting is valuable. Yeah. So it's good for your soul and it's good for like your ears too. Like, it's just lit. It's just super lit. So everybody got to pop out.
I'll add a little piece to that, man. At the end of the day, man, it's a lot of people that's coming together. From all over the city, a lot of churches, a lot of local businesses, a lot of nonprofit organizations. Obviously, you got Christian hip hop ministers from around the country who are also coming. You got Blac Chyna coming. But at the end of the day, this is Godflow, man, is a space where you come to and you can hear the gospel in a relevant way, man, where you can just come as you are, you feel me? And it's an opportunity to really be transformed. At the end of the day, for me, I'm really focused on that altar call. I keep getting this vision, man. I keep getting this vision of the altar just being flooded with souls of people who are just having their first encounter with Christ. Like, they think they just come into a hip hop concert. They think they just come in to see Blac Chyna. But at the end of the day, I know it sounds cliche, but as God is my witness, man, I really think that is really going to be about them having that encounter with Jesus.
I love that, man. I love that. Yeah. All right, man. So y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Jay.
And this is Chris.
This is God. Now it's a family affair. Yeah. The Crosses. That's what
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.